because until now I'm still living the result of the genocide, and I was like, since we're hearing many people denying the genocide, if survivors were not able to tell our own stories, they will keep telling those wrong stories if you don't do anything to do it. That's why today I was willing to share this story, and I'm really grateful for this opportunity. So in 1994, I will say, like, after 2 days, the war started on April 7th, and my parents were killed on April 10th. So we're living in Kigali, which is the capital city of Rwanda, and our area, our neighborhood, is one of among areas that has lost many Tutsis in the whole city. So where we're living, we were exposed, I would say, to being killed. So I don't even know how we survived. I and my siblings, 5 siblings, and I remember the morning of April 10th, it was Sunday, and when they came, they just took my father, and then they went to kill him. When they came to take my mother, she was sitting with me, my little brother, and our younger brother. We were praying. We were family, we were believers, as many Rwandans, and when they took my mother, I was little, I was 6 years old. We had to follow my mother, so we didn't know what was happening, and I remember they killed my mother in front of my eyes, but that reality that moment became a reality years after the genocide, because I thought maybe it was a movie or something, because I remember one time when I was reading at the orphanage, a family wanted to adopt us, telling us that our family live in Italy, and I was believing that, even though I saw my parents being killed in front of myself. I just want to tell you how young I was and how innocent, and how I wasn't aware of what was happening until years after. So the genocide was a horrific tragedy to all Rwandans, and someone who killed my parents was our neighbor. Their kids were our friends. We were always playing together. You could understand how such things can happen, why and how. So it was, as my fellow Rwandan Chantal said, from a community, it's so hard to understand how Rwandans kill each other. Usually you can understand if it's one country against another country, but Rwandans, even if you see Hutus and Tutsis, if nobody can tell you, you can see the difference. So, but I can't blame Hutus 100%, because whatever hate that was planted in Rwandans was through education as well. That's why today, in every question, in everything we're going to discuss about, we're going to talk about how education is important to prevent the genocide to happen again. But whatever happened in Rwanda was the ideas and wrong thought that was implanted in Rwandans' mind through colonials. So, and we're really grateful for the army that was led by Paul Kagame, who is the president right now. He's the one who, after seeing whatever happened, by the way, saying the genocide of 1994, that's what is important, that Rwandans who tell our stories. Many Rwandans will believe that genocide started a long time ago, because we experienced different moments where they had to kill many people since 1959, if I remember really well, 1959, 60s, 70s, 90s, until 1994 is when they killed 1 million people. So, and what I will say about my personal story, like on my dad's side, I would say I don't have any family other than my cousins, one auntie, and they killed like almost of them a horrific death, and some were raped, some were killed, some were, they threw some of them in rivers. It's things that hard. I remember after genocide, we used to sit together with my cousins, and we have turn turns to tell our stories, and each one we say like how they killed their parents in a horrific way, and it was like our bedtime story every night after the genocide. We were living together, and whenever we have like a beautiful time, we start telling those stories, sharing those memories, how hard it is and everything. So sharing my story, I guess that's all I will have about it. About that experience, the genocide, when I was 6 years old, I and my siblings were still alive, and more we're gonna share. I will also share what we had to live after the genocide, how we were affected, the power of reconciliation, also how the healing is also needed. Mostly this time when we started this event, they said like, why can't we move on and forget? It's 24 years ago, and some of my fellow, it's more than 50 years ago. Why can't we move on? But to be honest, more I grow up, more those wounds keep becoming fresh all over again, every day. Years ago, I couldn't even cry. When they asked me to go testify, I'm grateful to be with my husband today. He's right here. I was always like, I'm not gonna go there and cry because I don't cry. Like, I couldn't cry. I was like, me, I've cried a lot, and whenever I have a beautiful moment, I don't have the time to cry. But right now, I'm living these days that I find myself crying again over things that happened 24 years ago, but because I'm living a life where I can see the result today in terms of healing, trauma, struggles. And I used to consider myself as somebody who was healed until I was like, I'm not. I have my siblings, I have my other survivors that are living terrible nightmares every day, and I feel like they are part of me. And I was like, my contribution may be using my voice, letting others knowing how those tragedies have affected my fellow survivors will help us to heal, and also to fight the stigma will be through being able to tell these stories and sharing our stories. Thank you.